Hi water signs, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. So this is going to be a love and spirituality reading for Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, and I'll also be doing an extended video as always, so I'll leave the link to that in the description box down below. Okay, water signs, so when I was meditating on your energy, the message that I was getting is that some of you are learning how to trust your intuition, like you're learning how to trust the sensations that you get in your body when you are in certain situations. So if there's a situation that maybe isn't good for you, or if there's a person that maybe isn't good for you, you're learning how to identify like things that happen within your body that let you know that you need to stay away. So for example, some of you could get like a weird feeling in your stomach. Some of you could get like a slight headache. And I feel like in the past you have just kind of ignored that, or you didn't pay much attention to it. But now you're starting to notice that it is your intuition trying to warn you against certain things and kind of shield you from certain things. And that can be difficult to decipher between that and fear, because fear can also give you, a slight headache, or fear can cause you to kind of feel a little sick in your stomach. So it's sometimes very difficult to know the difference between fear and intuition. So some of you are just learning how to differentiate between the two. So let's look at your cards now. In your past position, we have the Hangman card and we have the Four of Swords. Okay. Before I get started, I'm hearing intuitively that some of you are wanting me to kind of talk more about what I just said about your intuition versus your fear, because some of you are trying to figure that out, and you are wanting to know, is there like a shortcut to kind of figure out which is which? The way that I decipher between the two is that my intuition, it will cause very mild sensations. Like my intuition is usually very quiet, so I won't notice it unless I'm in kind of a quiet space. So sometimes I'll get like a little nervousness in my stomach, or I'll get like a little bit of a headache, like right in my crown or like my third eye area, but it won't be anything that's too overpowering or overwhelming. And so sometimes I don't even notice my intuitive signals unless I'm like sitting and meditating, or maybe like when I'm in a shower, in the bathtub, or taking a walk. Like my intuition tends to be a bit more quiet. When I have fears, that's when it tends to be a bit more loud. Like my stomach will start to hurt terribly, my head will start to hurt terribly, and that's how I know it's from a place of fear. Now that doesn't mean that that fear isn't warranted. Sometimes we become fearful because a situation looks very similar to a situation in our past that has hurt us, and sometimes that means to stay away, but other times it could just mean that our fear is being activated, and we need to proceed with caution. We don't necessarily have to stay away. So I can see why it can be a bit confusing, but to me, that's how I differentiate between the two. My intuition is usually a bit quieter than my fear, so it could be different for other people. So you may have to figure out what kind of works for you. It's all like a trial and error sort of thing, but that's pretty much what works for me. So I hope that answered your question. So let's get into your cards. Like I said, in your past position, we have the Hangman card and we have the Four of Swords. So with the Hangman card being here, I don't like to see this energy. I really don't. This is the energy of kind of being a bit stagnant, but at the same time, sometimes it's necessary to be stagnant because we learn a lot of lessons during stagnancy. Like if we just kind of move on to the next thing very quickly, sometimes it's like we don't fully grasp everything that we were supposed to learn, and then we'll just end up repeating it down the road. So to me, it could very well be that this stagnancy is a good thing, but for some of you, it can start to be a bit overwhelming, because I do see that you are ready to move forward, but there's something that's blocking you, or something that's keeping you stuck. And this is in the past position, so this could have already happened. It could be happening right now though, but it's like this feeling stuck and not being able to move to the next phase or the next cycle is actually causing like a disruption in your peace of mind. And that's why I say I don't necessarily think this is like a stagnancy where you're meant to learn something. I think this is a stagnancy where you've learned everything you need to learn, and now it's disrupting your peace of mind to still be staying in the same place. So let me pull one more card just to clarify that, because I'm getting kind of mixed messages with that. Cards. For some of you, it's like I'm picking up on two different groups. For some of you, it's like you're ready to move forward, but there's something that's blocking you and keeping you stagnant, and that's disrupting your peace of mind. For some of you though, the thing that's disrupting your peace of mind is what's keeping you stagnant. That probably was confusing as hell. Let me try to give an example. Let's say you have a low self-esteem, right? Your low self-esteem is keeping you from moving forward to the next phase in your life, and your low self-esteem is disrupting your peace of mind. So that's for one group of you. But for another group, it could very well be that something is physically blocking your way. Like maybe it's not like a low self-esteem or anything like that. Like maybe it's something that physically you can't move to the next stage, like your finances aren't right, or it's something physically that could be blocking your way, and that in itself is disrupting your peace of mind. So for some of you, it's an internal blockage that's causing a disruption. For some of you, it's an external blockage that's causing a disruption. There we go. Let me pull one more. Six of Swords. So the Six of Swords is the soulmate. The Six of Cups is the soulmate card. So this could be where your stagnancy first began with a person. And it doesn't have to be a soulmate in the sense that a lot of people think. Some people think that soulmate is like this person that you're supposed to spend forever with, but that's not true. You can have platonic soulmates, like you can have siblings who are soulmates. You can have friends who are soulmates. A soulmate is just someone who comes into your life who helps you to evolve on a spiritual level, and it's more than likely that you've had past lives with this person. So it looks like the beginning of this stagnation or this period of you feeling blocked started with this person. Actually, this blockage could have existed before them. Maybe they just kind of shined, oh God, I can't speak today. They could have shined a spotlight on whatever this is that has been blocking you. So for example, let's say that, like I said in the other example, your finances have been blocking you from being able to move forward in some way. Maybe this person comes into your life and they show you that, like maybe they come into your life and they make it so that you have to move out of your home or something like that. And that's when you realize that your finances are not in order like they need to be. I really hope that makes sense. Or maybe like someone who's a soulmate comes into your life and maybe they borrow a large sum of money from you and then they don't pay it back, and then you realize that you have been careless with your finances, and that's been causing you a blockage. You see what I'm saying? I really hope that this makes sense. I feel like this reading is confusing already, but yeah, it's like this, whoever this soulmate was, they basically came to shine a spotlight on a blockage that was already there. So now the internal blockage that I talked about, like let's say you have a shaky sense of self-worth, right? Maybe a low self-esteem. That means that this soulmate came in and somehow shined a light on that. Like maybe they did something that made you feel even more insecure. Maybe they did something that lowered your self-esteem even more. It's like whatever this was, an internal or external blockage, it already existed before this person. They just came in to shine a spotlight on it. And now this person could be cycling out of your life, but that blockage is still there. And the blockage is frustrating to you now because now you see it very clearly. Like before, you could have just been living with the blockage and it's kind of like it was flying under the radar. Like maybe you've always been a bit, irresponsible with your finances. Maybe you've always had, a bit of a low self-esteem, but you were kind of coasting with it. But this person or this connection comes into your life and shines a spotlight on it to the point where you can no longer ignore it. For some of you, I'm hearing like your health. Maybe you weren't in very good health and you weren't doing what you needed to do to get your health together, and then this connection happens that makes your health even worse, whether it be your physical health, your mental health, whatever it may be. They come in and make your health even worse to the point where now you can no longer ignore it. So yeah, I feel like that's what this soulmate did or came in to do, is to shine a spotlight on something that it's like you can no longer ignore, that this problem or this blockage is there. So with the Judgment card being here in the reverse, I do feel like this soulmate, I'm just not getting very good vibes from them, just the vibes are off. It's like they taught this lesson through very bad decision making. Let's put it that way. They didn't make the right judgment call. They made some poor decisions, and that's what led to shining a spotlight on these blockages that were within you. So this wasn't something that was pleasant, is what I'm feeling. Like I said, the example that I gave is maybe there was a soulmate that came in and borrowed a large sum of money, and then they chose to not pay it back. Like they made a very poor decision, and that's what caused you to see like, damn, I'm too giving with my finances, or, I don't have my finances in order like I should. So whatever this lesson was, it came through a poor decision on the soulmate's end. So it wasn't necessarily pleasant. So I'm not really shocked that some of you are still feeling stagnant and blocked, because now you have to deal with the blockage that was already there, but then you also could be trying to recover from, whatever poor decision, this soulmate made. Doesn't have to be a bad person necessarily, and it doesn't have to be romantic. Like I said, it could very well be a sibling, it could be a parent making a bad choice, whatever it may be. You do have to, it's like you're paying for their bad choice, but you're also getting opportunities to clear a blockage due to their bad choice, is what I'm seeing. So let's move on to your present. We have the Hierophant card, and we also have the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. So with the Hierophant card being here, I do sense that you and this soulmate did have some sort of long-term commitment or contract. And again, it does not have to be romantic. It could be family, it could be a job situation, but there was some sort of commitment that was here with the Hierophant card being here. I'm not really shocked, because like I said, with soulmates, a lot of the time there is past life connection. So it could be a commitment that carried over from a past life. But I do see that even though there is a commitment, there's this desire to no longer focus on that commitment. And I feel like it's because you are wanting to focus more on that blockage that they've shined a light on. It's like you can no longer ignore whatever that thing is. So you kind of are being forced to shift your attention off of the commitment and kind of shift it onto that thing that they activated in you, or that they showed you is a major problem in your life that you need to fix. And again, I'm going to keep giving examples just so it doesn't get confusing. I'm going to give the finances example. Maybe this person borrowed a large sum of money from you, or maybe they stole a large sum of money from you, who knows? And now you see that you've been too giving and too free with your finances. Like you've been just not handling your finances properly. So now you don't have time to focus on the commitment with them, because now you have to get your finances in order. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I feel here. It's like not wanting to focus on the commitment anymore, or not being able to, because now there's bigger, like you have bigger fish to fry. You have more important things to think about or to worry about. I feel like for some of you also, you may be seeking out guidance on what you need to do next, because you're tired of being in the same space. So you could be seeking out someone who has some sort of wisdom and guidance. Let me pull one more. And I know in the beginning I talked about intuition. I'm trying to see where that ties into this reading. It very well could be that your intuition may have been telling you about this soulmate or something along those lines. I'm not really seeing how the intuition thing ties in, but what will make the most sense is you trying to figure out if your intuition was warning you against this soulmate, or maybe warning you to not take part in something with this soulmate, something along those lines. So I pulled the Empress card in the reverse. So it looks like you really are needing some sort of guidance, because the Empress card in reverse lets me know that you have kind of lost your, I'm not going to say your faith, but when you're not in the right emotional state, or you're not in the right headspace to like formulate a plan and to like move yourself out of like this cycle of this stagnant energy, it's like, it's very difficult to, I'm trying to figure out the best way to say this, because the Empress card in reverse, it's like about creations that don't come to pass because there's not the right amount of energy getting put into it. And that's because there's like this drain of like this emotional or mental drain that's been put on you, and it's hard to then turn around and pull yourself out of a certain cycle or move forward into the next thing when you're drained mentally and emotionally. So it's hard to create. Gosh, I'm trying to figure out the best way to express what I'm hearing intuitively. Okay, a very physical example I can give is pregnancy, because the Empress card represents pregnancy as well. If your body is not strong enough to carry the baby all 9 months, then you may need help, meaning like maybe the baby would be born early, and then, the hospital would then have to, keep the baby alive in like an incubator. Sorry if that's kind of a gruesome or like a very negative example. It's kind of not though, because in the example, the baby lives, maybe it's like a few weeks early and it has to stay like, I think it's called an incubator for a couple of weeks while it develops. fully, and then, you know, you can take the baby home. So it's a happy ending. But it's just an example of like, if you don't have the emotional, mental, or physical strength to create something new into your life, you may need a bit of help. So moving out of this stagnancy or out of this cycle, you may need some help with it. Let's put it that way. You may need some help with it, especially if you're not in the right mental and emotional state, because it's hard to be strategic and to formulate a strategy to move yourself out of this stagnancy if you're not in the right mental and emotional state. So let's move on to the next two cards. We have the King of Pentacles, and we also have the Six of Swords. So the good news is that in the near future, you are moving into calmer waters. You are moving into peace of mind. You are going to get yourself out of this stagnant situation. It's just going to take some effort. It's going to take some work. And again, it may take a little bit of help. I do see, though, that you are evolving into this King of Pentacles energy. So you are evolving from, it's like you're going from the Four of Swords, which is like not having peace of mind, feeling like you're not really in control of your life, feeling like you're kind of paying for someone else's mistakes, to this King of Pentacles energy where it's like you feel stable, you feel grounded, you feel like your life is in order, you feel like you can finally have some sort of control and consistency in your life, because it's like you've moved out of this state of feeling stagnant, you've moved out of this state of, you know, your mind not being at peace, to you finding peace of mind, you finding stability. So it's like things are stable in your external environment, and they're also stable internally. Your emotions are balanced, and everything that's going on around you externally is also balanced, and you finally grasp like this feeling of control in your life. Because for some of you, you felt very out of control. You felt like other people, or another person specifically, had the ability to throw you off balance, had the ability to just kind of really come in and shake your life up. But that's only because there was already blockages that were there that needed to be kind of shaken up and brought to the surface. So now you can manifest stability in your external life and in your internal life in the near future, is what I'm seeing. And I feel like it is going to take a bit of help to help you to become, you know, balanced again. And to formulate a strategy for you to move forward. And I think that through this whole situation, you could have really just learned how to identify red flags, or you could have learned how to kind of trust your intuition and kind of just trust yourself more. And that definitely coincides with what I said about you turning into the King of Pentacles, because the King of Pentacles is very much in touch with, you know, their intuition. That's an energy of someone who's in touch with their intuition and follows their inner knowing and their inner guidance in order to manifest abundance in their external life or in their external world. So I'm gonna pull one more for this help that may be coming in. Magician card in the reverse. Yeah, some of you just feel, don't be afraid to ask for help, seriously, because when you're emotionally drained, I just can't stress this enough. When you're emotionally or mentally drained, it can be very difficult to pull yourself out of this hole that you're in, or to try to manifest anything good into your life. Like pull yourself out of this hole and manifest something good. It's very difficult to do so when you just feel just completely drained based off of someone else's mistake or something that someone else did that you have to pay for. It's only fair that you would get some sort of help, especially if another person is the one who kind of helped to put you in this position. So it could be that the other person wants to help you out of this, or it could be someone else who you may need to reach out to, you know, for help to pull you out of this. Yep, it's someone who is stable, grounded, and who is able to, you know, give you some sort of, not just advice, but they're able to give you some sort of solid help. So going back to the example that we're going to stick with about the soulmate who may have stole money from you, or who may have borrowed money and not given it back, the person who's coming in to help would be someone who would give you a small loan, like here, you know, here's until you know, get back on your feet. Or it could be the soulmate who comes in and gives you, you know, your money back plus some, you know, we're not going to bank on that though, because I don't know what the hell is going on with this soulmate. But I'm banking on like a new person who could come in and give you, like, you know, here you go, to help you get back on your feet. Because it's only fair, like I said, the universe is fair and balanced. So it's only fair that if someone came in and caused destruction in your life, you know, even though there may have been blockages there already, they still played a role in causing destruction. the universe will usher in someone to actually help you to kind of get back on your feet. So help seems to be on the way here. And if you've been wondering why you're so stagnant and why you can't pull yourself out of this, it's because you are mentally and emotionally drained. And as human beings, it's very hard for us to pull ourselves out of that space without help. So that is what I'm seeing. Oh, actually, I'm hearing that the cards that I just pulled are the outside energy. So if you watch, my readings of this type, I pull outside energy at the end of the reading, meaning a person or a situation or connection that is impacting you the most emotionally and spiritually, or physically too, mentally as well. And I just heard intuitively that the cards I just pulled for that person that's coming in to help you, that's the outside energy. So yeah, we're going to look more into that person in the extended video. We're going to see who this person could possibly be, and see if we can get specific about the type of help that you're going to be getting from them. We may try to pull for the soulmate that I picked up on in this reading, but I'm not too sure. I don't know what the hell is going on with them. It's a little bit of shady business going on with them over there. So maybe we'll pull one card to just look into that a little bit. But yeah, so yeah, we're gonna finish this in the extended reading. I will leave the link to that in the description box. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys over in the extended. Bye.